Hey everyone, Mr. MC here. This is lap guide for our Fuji International Speedway short variation with the Toyota Sprinter Trueno GT Apex. Let's get started. Start to brake a little bit before you reach the 150 meter mark. Brake hard in a straight line, and once you start to turn, slowly start to ease off on the braking. This is to make sure that the car doesn't slide. Once you hit the apex, you can slowly start to accelerate and make sure you don't hit the AstroTurf that is on the left side of the track to make sure that your car doesn't want to lose control. Now here's an interesting turn. You want to start to brake a little bit before you reach this little orange sign that is on the right side of the track. It's hanging out in between the 150 meter mark. Brake hard for a moment, then release almost all of your braking. This will get the car to want to slide it a little bit, but you'll want to do this as it'll get you the rotation that you need to make it through this turn at a fast rate of speed. So once you hit the apex, you can then release the rest of your braking and then fully apply the throttle. Now once you're about to reach this little path that is on the right, you want to release a bit of your throttle. This part right here is all about throttle control, but once you're about to reach the other path that is hanging out on the right side of the track as well, you can then fully accelerate. Look for the little orange sign on the right as you'll be braking right after you pass it. Brake hard for a moment and then start to ease off on the braking and start to turn, so you'll be slowing down while you're turning, and then once you hit the apex, you can then start to fully accelerate. For this turn, you can use two different reference points. The first one is a little bit after you pass this big Dunlop sign, but the second one isn't on the track itself. Right after you hear the sound that indicates that you're in a new sector, you can then start to brake. Brake hard for a bit here, and then start to ease off on the braking, and right when you hit the apex, you can then start to fully accelerate. For this turn, look for the big white line that is on the left as you'll start to brake a little bit after you pass it. Brake hard for a moment once again, but then once you start to ease up on the braking, guide your car in to the apex of this turn, and then you can start to slowly accelerate. But then this is where it gets interesting, because when the curb on the left is about to end right about here, you want to start to ease off on the throttle, but at the same time, you want to start to apply a little bit of braking. You'll slow your car down, but at the same time, because of the nature of this turn, you'll keep your car nice and stable. The last thing you want to do is make your car slide a lot. So by doing this, your car will be stable, and you can gently guide it into the apex of this next turn right here. Once you hit the apex, you can release your braking, and then you can start to slowly accelerate. Look for a thin white line on the left side of the track as you'll start to brake before you pass it. You can use a trick that was used in the last turn, except you'll be using it to a much less of an extent here. Start to turn a lot more before the curb on the left ends, and as you see here, once I'm facing the yellow barrier that's on the other side of the track, I'm going to step on the gas. Try to hit the apex, which is accompanied by a white line on the right, and you should be good to go. That is all for the guide. Non-commentary version is coming up, but anyways, thank you for watching the video. I hope you found it helpful. This is Mr. MCA, the world's most okay player, and I'll see you in the next video.